Welcome, incoming AFSers. In this video, I'm going to discuss travel guidelines to follow as you start your AFS program and journey to the U.S. Let's start with a short video of participants arriving in the U.S. and being greeted by volunteers and host families at the airport. Okay, let's get started with preparing for departures. These are very important reminders to make sure you are ready to go. First, ensure your AFS home office has the accurate cell phone number that you will be using during travel on your original program application. This way, all AFS-USA staff, volunteers, and otherwise are able to contact you should the need arise during your travel. It is also critical to save important contacts to your phone prior to departing and to download WhatsApp in order to streamline communication. Make sure you have your completed health form addendum. Be sure to make a paper copy version of all your important documents, such as your passport, visa, health form addendum, and vaccination record. When you are packing, check the guidance for luggage with your airline and make sure to properly label all pieces of luggage, preferably with your host family address in the USA. This can serve as your checklist for readying all items on travel day. Be sure to be wearing your AFS name tag to be easily identified at airports. Make sure WhatsApp is downloaded and you are logged in. Have your cell phone fully charged and have your charging cable readily accessible. Know the AFS-USA phone number for urgent travel situations or changes. Keep your important documents safe but readily accessible for customs. Know the layouts of any airport that will be traveled through during your journey. Some of you may have to change planes in one or two airports in the United States. This is called a domestic transit. When checking in for your flight in your home country, ask if your luggage will be checked to your final destination or if you will have to pick it up during your domestic transit. Normally, your bag should be checked all the way through. However, in some airports, you may still need to claim your suitcase and recheck it for your next flight. Again, it is very important to download WhatsApp, share your WhatsApp number with the AFS office in your home country, and keep your phone charged and connected to Wi-Fi while traveling. This way, any AFS staff and volunteers can assist you during your domestic transit as well. Now we're going to discuss some additional travel guidelines to consider once you are here on program in the U.S. Some participants may want to travel to see more of the United States. In some AFS communities and with host families, participants may have the opportunity to travel with their host family or school. However, it is important to remember that AFS experience is built around immersion into the host family, school, and community, and additional travel is not a major focus of the AFS program. Some types of this travel do not require special permission. Some types will require special permission from AFS-USA in the form of a travel waiver. For example, an official school trip with school chaperones that complies with any school guidelines and J-1 visa requirements would not require a waiver. But visiting a distant cousin in a different state where your host family does not attend the trip would require it. Remember, when you are traveling, AFS compulsory events such as orientations and your school attendance must not be interrupted. Requests for any independent travel will be reviewed only after 5 months on program, or 4 months if you're a semester student. This gives students enough time to become fully acclimated with your host family, school, and community. Unauthorized participant travel away from host family or host community is strictly prohibited. Any request for independent travel should be made to your local volunteers. They will review these requests and work with us as AFS-USA staff to approve on a case-by-case basis. AFS-USA discourages visits from friends or family from your home country, as they can often pose problems for students' adjustment into your host culture and community. However, requests for these types of visits are considered toward the end of a student's program and on a case-by-case basis. This helps you prepare for your travel, and we are excited to have you on board soon. Thank you.
Greetings, AFSers. Today, I'm going to talk to you about your AFS host family. We are going to discuss some things to expect from your American host family and your host family home, and some common realities about living in the United States. Now, the United States is a country that is home to people with a wide variety of backgrounds. This is also true for AFS host families. So there really is no such thing as one typical American family because they can be very different. They can be big or small. They can live in urban areas, rural areas, or suburban areas. And they can come from a big variety of personal, societal, and cultural backgrounds as well. Whatever your family might look like, they are excited to meet you and to share their home and their community with you. American culture can also be a little different state to state, region to region, and even family to family. Your host family may want to introduce you to food or history that is specific to their particular region or area or state. American families can also be very different in terms of what they value, what they believe in, their opinions, and what they like to do. Many American families observe a religion, and it can be common for some families to attend religious services regularly and celebrate religious holidays. Your host family may be interested in sharing this part of their life with you. While AFS does not allow students to be forced to participate in religious activities if they don't want to or just don't feel comfortable doing it, we also know that for many American families, religious traditions and practices are really just a part of their lives that they might be excited to share. Some other things that many American families have in common. It can be common for American families for there to be rules in the home or in the family, or chores, or curfews. Your host family may expect you to follow these. Some common examples of possible rules or chores may include something like no mobile phones at the dinner table, or keep your room clean, or help with the dishes. Rules and expectations can vary a lot family to family, But it's possible that your host family may have some expectations or rules that they expect you to follow because they follow them themselves in their home. If you ever have any questions about a rule or a chore or expectation that your host family has, we encourage you to ask your host family about it or talk to your local AFS volunteers. Another thing that can be very common in many American families is for people to use cars to get from place to place. Many American families have at least one car, maybe even two, maybe more. Even when families live in more urban areas where there may be public transportation, using cars is a very common way to get from place to place. So you can expect to get from place to place by getting a ride in a car by someone like your host parents. Your host family may use safety practices that could be slightly different than what you're used to at home. Many American parents have rules and expectations that have to do with safety. For example, many American parents have curfews for their children, specifically because it may not be considered safe to be out late at night. Many parents will also expect their children to make safe decisions when online or in virtual spaces like social media, and AFS expects that of you too. Please review the safety tips section on your online resource, AFS-USA Help and Learning for hosted participants. If you have any questions or concerns about your host family's safety practices or about your comfort level in adhering to them, you can talk to your host family about it, or you can reach out to your local AFS volunteers. Lastly, your host family will want to spend time with you and to get to know you. For many American families, togetherness and feelings of a strong family connection are important, and they're often shown by small things like talking together, spending time together in the home, eating meals together, watching movies together, playing games together, taking walks together, or doing other activities together. At the beginning of your year, your host family will likely want to complete a document with you called a participant and host family questionnaire. The participant and host family questionnaire is a collaborative exercise that allows you and your host family to have discussions together about common expectations in the home. We encourage you to take the time to do this exercise with your host family. It can really help your year get off to a great start. Another helpful exercise to do is the cultural exploration questionnaire. We recommend this tool as well. It's also a document and a collaborative exercise that is meant to help students and families be able to articulate some of their cultural lenses to raise mutual awareness and foster mutual understanding in the home. AFS USA Help and Learning for hosted participants is an online resource for all AFS USA hosted students, and it provides crucial information about rules, expectations, and important tips that AFS has for preparing for life in the US. Please make sure you explore this resource. We also recommend you keep this resource handy and nearby throughout your AFS experience. You can keep on looking at it and using it as a resource throughout your AFS year. Lastly, every AFS student is assigned a volunteer contact called a liaison. Your AFS liaison is responsible for checking in with you and your host family, and they are also responsible for helping provide assistance when you have a question or a concern, even little ones. Please reach out to your liaison and use them as a resource. They are here to help. Thank you so much, AFSers, for watching, and we are very excited to welcome you to the United States.
Now it's time to learn about the school realities, as schools in the United States are very different. So we hope that you will enjoy your time at your school in the United States, but we want you to know a few things before you get here to make sure that you are fully prepared. The most important thing to understand about schools across the United States is that every school is different and unique. So what you may have access to in one school may be very different than what another student from your same country has access to when they are somewhere else across the country. The United States is a very big place. That goes for the size of the school. You could be in a tiny school, which has its own benefits, or a very large school, which has different benefits. There are a lot of varieties within and among schools, even in the same state within the United States. Our goal for you is that you are a cultural ambassador from your country. And if you are in a school that does not accept a lot of exchange students, you could be that only cultural ambassador at your school. Or if you're at a school that has historically hosted a lot of AFS students, then you may be one of many. But it's also possible that you could be in a school that has a wide variety of students and you could be just like anyone else. So keep in mind that the way you are treated in your school is going to be different based on where you are and what the reality of the school is. Some of you may be attending a public school, some a private school. There are just a lot of different types of schools where our AFS students get placed. So please keep in mind that each type of school may have different class offerings, a different type of school schedule, a different type of dress code that is required of you. And those schools may be located in big cities, in a rural area or small town, or in the suburbs outside of a big city. Some of them may provide a yellow school bus as transportation, and some of you may be driven to school by your host parents or your host siblings. Everything is going to be different. So we encourage you not to compare your school with that of other exchange students from your country or who are placed in the same state where you are, because again, every school is different. And because every school is different, there are a variety of school opportunities available based on which school you are studying in for the year. For example, with sports, the larger the school, the more competitive the sports are, which means it may be much more difficult for you to be able to be part of a sports team if you're in a very large school. At the same time, there are a lot of clubs and activities available at almost all the schools where you all will go. But the larger the school, the more clubs and opportunities there may be. And at the same time, there are a variety of classes that are going to be available, and those are different in every school across the US. So the larger the school, the more classes that may be available, but at the same time, that may mean that there are more students to take up the classes that you might like to take. And the schools in the United States are not required to make accommodations for you to make sure that you get the classes that you want. So please keep in mind that they will share with you what classes are available to you when you go to enroll and do your schedule. So at the same time, the larger the school that you attend, the more decisions that will need to be made, and the more likely you are as an exchange student to be just another student. So there are a lot of benefits to going to a large school and also a lot of benefits to going to a smaller school. So a pro tip or suggestion for you is to look up your school on the internet before you arrive to the United States and check out the list of clubs and activity offers before you get here, so you have an idea of what things you may want to do when you arrive. When it comes to our expectations for you during your time at school, we do expect all AFS students to do your homework and turn it in to the teacher and try to be prompt with that. We encourage you to raise your hand and actively participate in class. We know for some students, this is not how you typically operate in your home country as far as raising your hand and being proactive to participate in your classroom, but it is an expectation in US classrooms, so we want you to be aware of that. It is also expected of students that if you need help, if there's something you don't understand, the teachers and the education system in the United States expect the students to be proactive and ask for help. Instead of waiting until you're in a big struggle and then you're failing a class, and then there are a lot of other things that are going to happen. So it's much better for everyone if there's something you don't understand that you reach out to your teacher, you talk to them at the end of a class period, you send them an email, but reach out to them and let them know that you need some assistance. It's also important to understand that in the United States, there is an expectation in classrooms and school environments that you do not copy or paste any answers for the work that you submit from the internet, and that you also do not use artificial intelligence or AI to complete your work or your assignments. A pro tip or a suggestion for you is for you to talk to your host family or host siblings and find out what the learning management system is and download that app on your phone or computer so that you can check your grades easily while you are studying in the United States. It is highly recommended to all AFS participants that you attend the clubs and activities fair at your school. Many of these will happen in the fall, so we encourage you to ask questions during enrollment, find out what clubs or activities are available, when that fair is, and how you sign up. Please participate in a lot of activities. It's how you will make friends and find people with whom you have common interests. Ask questions of your teachers, counselors, and classmates to figure out how to sign up. Your host family would be a good resource to ask questions of as well. And if you want to play a sport in the fall, since you will be arriving after many of those practices have begun, please communicate that with your host family as soon as you are matched up so that you can start planning ahead to be ready to join that team or join that activity as soon as you arrive. And finally, when it comes to the idea of graduation and diplomas for US schools, again, please remember that every school across the United States is different, and they all have different policies about how they operate with the idea of graduation and the idea of awarding a diploma. The majority of exchange students do not receive a diploma from a US school while they are on their exchange program. And that is because there are very specific requirements regarding types of courses that have to be taken before a student can earn a diploma. And it usually takes all 4 years to accomplish that list of courses and credit hours. So it is highly unlikely that you would receive a diploma while you are on your AFS program. However, the idea of a graduation ceremony is different than receiving a diploma. It is very possible that some of the students, AFS students, will be allowed to participate, or what we call walk, through the graduation ceremony at the end of the year. AFS will support the school's policy regarding graduation and diplomas. So we ask you, please do not negotiate with the school if they already have a policy in place about graduation and diplomas. We want to make sure that future exchange students will still be welcome in the school where you are attending. So please make sure to abide by the policy that your school already has in place. We know it might be disappointing if you are not able to get a diploma or if you are not able to walk through the graduation ceremony, but we do have to support the policies of the schools where you all are attending because they do not have to accept exchange students. And we want students like you in many of the future years to continue to have the opportunities at these great schools where you will be placed. So a suggestion for you may be to ask your liaison if they know the policy already about whether or not students at your school have been able to walk through the graduation ceremony or if they've received a diploma. If your liaison does not know, then you're welcome to ask the question of your school counselor when you arrive and arrange to complete your schedule. But otherwise, once you know that information, we do expect you to abide by that school policy. We hope you've enjoyed learning this information about the types of schools and experiences you may have while you are in the United States, and we look forward to receiving you when you arrive. Thank you.
Greetings, AFS participants. We're so excited to welcome you to the US and to support you on this incredible journey. It's important that we take some time to talk about your safety and well-being as they serve as the foundation for a successful and meaningful exchange experience. We want you to consider all aspects of your health while you're on program. Just like your physical health, your mental and emotional well-being are just as equally important. Coming on program, especially as an exchange student, can be very exciting, but can also come with challenges. Let's talk about a few key things to keep in mind to take care of your well-being. Adjusting to a new environment can be overwhelming at times. You might feel lonely, experience culture shock, or homesickness, and that's completely normal and expected. It's okay to feel this way, and it's important to talk about it. Although challenges can feel tough in the moment, they're also incredible learning opportunities for growth. Whether it's adapting to a new culture, making friends, or navigating different communication styles, these experiences will help you become more resilient. Practicing self-care can make you a more effective learner and help you achieve your goals. Remember, adjusting to a new environment takes time, and it's okay to have ups and downs. The key is to be patient with yourself, seek support when needed, and take care of your well-being, which will help you grow in ways you never even expected. A coping strategy is anything you do to help manage stress. It's a tool that helps you navigate tough moments to regain a sense of balance. And again, it's normal that you might experience some stress. So think about what you do at home that helps you feel better. Maybe you listen to music, go for a walk, talk to a friend. These same activities can help you feel better here as well. It's also important to notice when you need to slow down and take a break. If you're feeling overwhelmed or exhausted, give yourself permission to step back, rest, and recharge. Taking care of your well-being will help you stay focused, feel more in control, and make the most of your exchange experience. Communicate with your host family and volunteers about what your coping strategies are and how you're feeling throughout the program. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Reaching out for support and finding familiar ways to comfort yourself can make all of the difference. Technology is a great tool, but too much screen time can take away from real-life experiences. Using your phone to communicate with friends and family, scroll on different social media platforms, or even gaming is totally normal, as technology remains a big part of all of our lives. But too much screen time can take away from meaningful connections. So try to set up some healthy boundaries. Keep your phone away during key times like meal times or bedtime. Plan offline and outdoor activities like playing a board game or going for a walk. And when possible, choose face-to-face conversations or video calls instead of texting. Think of texting as a way to quickly check in or to schedule a more in-depth conversation for a later point in time. Finding a balance with screen time doesn't just help you stay present, it also strengthens your connection to the people around you, especially your support system. So stay both mindful and intentional when using technology. A support system is a group of people you can rely on for help. You have many different avenues for support. It's natural to want to reach out to family and friends back home. However, while you're on program, take a moment to consider who you can turn to locally for support. You'll have an AFS liaison, other students, friends at school, maybe a coach, definitely your host family, and maybe a teacher at school that you really like. These people can step in and help, and of course, AFS staff is available to you as well. By leaning on your local support system, this ensures you have the guidance and resources to help you remain successful while on program. Take a look at the visual outlining what we call the AFS chain of communication. There are several key points here that are important to remember. At AFS, we have a variety of different entities we communicate with to ensure that any concerns, challenges, or even emergencies are handled with the utmost care. The top priority at AFS is the safety and well-being of all our participants. If you're experiencing an issue, whether big or small, your first line of support is your host family and your liaison. Your liaison supports both you and your host family. Your liaison is often connected with other volunteers, including volunteer leaders who are very experienced in handling many types of issues. They also report to AFS support staff, like me. Staff is available during working hours when the office is open, but we also have an emergency duty officer system for after hours. You can see the phone number on the screen. Someone will answer this phone number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. AFS-USA staff contacts the staff in your partner country if there is an issue. It's the staff in your home country that speak with your parents or your legal guardians. And of course, throughout the program, you'll speak to your family from back home, but please remember, however, that your most immediate source of support in the event of an emergency is your host family and your local volunteers. Even if you're just working through normal challenges, your volunteers and your host family are best placed to offer you support. They understand the culture and local realities. There are many resources available to support you, such as the hosted Participant Help and Learning platform, which houses a wealth of knowledge. For example, you can find information about the AFS program rules and safety guidelines, the AFS medical plan, resources on adjustment, technology use, and the list goes on. This is available to you online and will be at your disposal. We encourage you to explore the platform. Make sure to verify information you may hear from peers with your host family and AFS volunteers. We also have what's called an emotional passport document that serves to help you outline your self-care strategies. Volunteers have access to this and can review it with you at any time. And lastly, please don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help and resources. Your safety, health, and well-being are crucial to having a successful program. Thank you so much for watching these videos. We can't wait to see you.